Joining us now from Indiana is Alvin Louie. He is the national president of Courage is a Habit. So that's an organization that equips parents to at least deal with the collapse of the public school system in America. Not everywhere. I mean, there's some very fine public schools, but a lot of places like the big urban areas. All right, Mr. Louie, thanks for helping us out here. And I have a book coming out September 15th called Confronting America, where I'm simpatico with you. So I'm saying, look, derelict parents who don't give a hoot about their kids, combined with ideological teachers unions, okay, who are shoving down, you're a victim, you don't have to take a test, you don't even have to show up. That combination is almost lethal to the future of the country. What say you?
It absolutely is. It's a personal honor to meet you, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Sure.
You are absolutely correct. As my co-founder often would say, that education in the United States is the greatest national security that we face. Because you see, a lot of parents still believe we start with the wrong premise. A lot of parents and a lot of Americans still believe that government K through 12 is about academics, meaning your basic reading, writing, math. And so when you see students marching to protect violent illegal aliens like we did earlier in 2026, what do people say, Bill? I can't believe it. Why are they doing this? Why aren't they in class? Why are they marching to protect violent illegal aliens? Well, our response is they're marching to protect violent illegal aliens because they were in class. Because the purpose of government K through 12 is to create social justice activists. It is to create angry young people. And as you often say, you just said it yesterday in your bonus video, where you say that the Mandami and the socialist, Democrat socialist, is to kill hope. Well, they don't have to kill hope because they kill them in K through 12 because they're telling kids that your skin color matters and there's genocide for trans people and all those different things. And so you're not telling them at 25, you're telling them at 5. And so when they get older in voting age, socialism sounds great because they have no hope. They're angry. They believe that America is racist and oppressive. And so that combination, like you said, is very lethal because what you're doing is this is not an intellectual brainwashing, Bill. This is an emotional discipleship.
Yeah,
they're not training kids in the academics.
No,
they're teaching them.
It. So you can't go home to dad and mom go, hold it. You know, this isn't really the way it is. Because it's a combination. Now, do you believe that the teachers across the United States, I mean, you got some in the union, you got some not. How pervasive is the victimization they're trying to sell the public school students? You don't get this in private school. I went to Catholic school. You don't get you're a victim, you're never going to succeed. That doesn't exist, okay? But in a public school, it exists. How pervasive is that point of view, and how did it get that way?
Well, actually, today, it is in a lot of the private schools as well. So you are not safe at all. We've actually done a lot of projects for private schools, both in Texas and Florida, and we found it equally as it was in the public schools. The pervasiveness is systemic. It's not in some school, it's in all school, it's the system. Whether you're talking about the teachers' unions, the teachers' colleges, and even more underlining that people don't see undercover is the mental health. Anytime you hear mental health, that is the big Trojan horse to bring all these things into schools, and the schools spend hundreds of millions of dollars on mental health. So it's absolutely pervasive, it's systemic, it is the entire purpose of the system. So when you see these children marching against illegal aliens, when you see these children being so broken, talking about, tax the rich and all those different things, climate changeism, when you see that, that is the purpose of it. And so when people are shocked and going, how come the academics are down? How come our budget is sky high? What are they doing with the money? Well, that's what they're doing with the money. They're teaching your children to hate America. And as my favorite quote from Abraham Lincoln is, the philosophy of the schoolhouse in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. And so when President Trump talked about it, at NATO, when he says that it's more dangerous than, let's say, Pearl Harbor or World War II, World War I, he's absolutely right, because those are physical attacks. Those are attacks that you can see and you can beat. What we're seeing in government K through 12 today, Bill, is actually in the heart and in the mind, and you can't see it until it's too late because they're not brainwashing children in terms of intellectually, but they're changing their values. And it's like a religion. And once you change a child's values, it's very, very difficult to get them out, even when you show them facts.
I was a high school teacher. You may know that for a couple of years. And of course, it was a different world back then. Most of the teachers at the Catholic school that I taught in weren't radical left. They weren't anything. Right. They didn't bring that in. They just taught their discipline and then they went home. So I'm wondering if from a historical basis, how the teachers industry, okay, and these people sacrifice. Teachers could make more money doing something else in the private sector. Most of them could, okay, but they choose to try to do some good, I think, in helping kids in the classroom. But now it's like a tsunami. It's like every time you look around, and whether it's Harvard or Princeton or Columbia or this college or that college, is full of these progressives who are teaching victimization. How did that happen?
Well, there was really two major areas. When it came to government K through 12, it really started in the Obama administration when he changed the way the competencies were measured. Before, you were measuring math and science and your core competencies. But during his administration, he weaponized the Department of Education to measure emotions. And how do you measure emotions? You got to take surveys. And that's when social emotional learning came into schools. Not to say that before the Obama administration that there wasn't this kind of indoctrination happening. It was. But his administration put grant money on the strings on the grant money. And so that's what made it so pervasive, so that even in a red county, in a red state, you're going to see the exact same critical race theory and queer theory. So that's how it got into the K through 12. As far as colleges goes, was there a litmus test,
though, that the Obama administration put out to get the grant money, in a stealth way that, hey, unless you toe the liberal line, you're not going to get any funds? Did that happen?
No, it's a lot more sneaky than that, and we hear it all the time today. It's always dangling poor kids, black kids, brown kids in front of you, and it's always about helping those kids. And it's always emotional blackmail, kindness, inclusion, welcoming schools, social emotional learning. Those things sound great. And if you're a teacher, if you're an educator, not the woke educator, but just a good educator, those things kind of tug at your heartstrings. It really, really does, and it still does today. And so a lot of that came in through that be kind, anti-bullying. It's not the anti-bullying, that we classically know going to school, because that was just about not shoving a kid in the locker room and not making fun of their shoes. Today, if you're a girl that don't want a boy in the locker room or your bathrooms or your showers, you're the bully. And so they've done something what we call at Courage is a Habit. We call it language contamination. And this is real easy for us to teach it. Language contamination is when they use your vocabulary, but not your dictionary. And so when the Obama administration came in, they didn't come in and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and survey your kids and manipulate the data so we can shove in socialism and communism and teach your kids to hate America. Of course, they didn't show it that way. They said, we just want to help kids learn, because if their mental health isn't good, then they can't learn.
I got it.
Sounds great.
I got it. Okay.
Obviously, mental health means something very different to them.
Well, Mr. Louie, very good. I learned a bunch during this interview about the overall evolution of this, which I believe, when you combine with the parents who don't give a hoot, it's really devastating. It's hard to come back from that, particularly if you go through the system and the system gets more and more radicalized as you get older. Very hard to come back from it. We appreciate it very much. We'll talk soon. Thanks for helping us out.